Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, October 13th. So fun fact, Wednesdays are actually ruled over by Mercury. And as we know, Mercury is retrograde. He is preparing to wrap up the life lessons and the definite struggles that we've been having to use our voice, to speak up, to speak our truth, to be heard, to communicate. He is trying to wrap things up before going direct next week. And let me tell you, on the day that Mercury rules, we are definitely going to be feeling the strain, the confusion, the lack of clarity, and some serious mishaps where communication is concerned. So we do have the moon in Capricorn, and it will be going void, of course, early in the morning, around 7:54 a.m., and transiting, moving into Aquarian energy, locking in around 5:48 p.m., which makes for a very long day of unstable energy. So another caution. Whenever the moon is on its move from one energy into the other, we are emotionally unstable, mentally unstable. Things get a little bit crazy. We lose our direction. Not that we have very much direction right now, but what little we do have, we will likely lose. We will likely be overwhelmed in the mental plane, in our heart space. And again, really putting the pressure on some misunderstandings that will likely occur in our energy exchanges. So the good thing about the moon moving from Capricorn into Aquarius is that we get a little bit lighter. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. We kind of start thinking a little bit more positively. Of course, we are illuminated while the moon is in Capricorn to all of our restrictions, all the challenges, all the blockages, all the negative narratives, all the very not so nice thoughts and feelings that come up because, of course, the ruler of Capricorn, being Saturn, does like to kind of drill into us some tough love life lessons, some negative type of narratives in order to bully us to a place where we are willing to stand up, take charge, and make a change. Now, Aquarian energy is light, it's visionary. We are essentially recognizing where it is that we are being blocked, we are being challenged, where we are being held back, and we can go ahead and start kind of really putting together a beautiful plan on where it is that we are going to bust free from these restrictions, where it is that we are going to free ourselves, liberate ourselves from the old patterns and behaviors, and where it is that we are going to dream a bigger dream by making some very deep connections in our heart space and in our psyche. So it is going to be a good change, but it is going to happen late in the day. There are 8 different aspects taking place here today, and 6 of them involve the moon. Starting off with the moon still in Capricorn, making a beautiful interaction with Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces. This is going to likely happen for many of us while we're sleeping, really creating an interesting dreamscape on where it is that we're getting hints and clues while we are exploring our subconscious material that we are unable to process in our waking life, because that is what dream states are all about. And the moon in Capricorn really harmonizing with this particular energy is going to reveal a lot of information, a lot of details that we're going to be able to wake up and feel the energy of. This is likely going to inspire us to boss up. This is likely going to inspire us to really wake up with a vision, with a plan, with a strategy on how it is that we're going to get organized. Of course, our dream state alludes us to what it is that our higher self needs us to do in our waking lives in order to get with the program, get in alignment with the path that we are meant to follow. The moon in Capricorn is going to make a little bit of a tension point with Venus while we sleep. And let me tell you, we're going to wake up very concentrated on the here and now, what it is that we are lacking in our personal relationships, what it is that we need to rearrange, restructure, reorganize in order for us to feel safe and secured, valued and worthy in the personal relationships that we're currently pouring into. Venus, of course, ruling over love and money. She really needs to get down to the nitty gritty, really come back down to the basics on what it is that she needs in order to feel supported and encouraged to go ahead and start making some long-term plans moving forward. This is going to likely jolt us when we wake up as well, in order to kind of step back and observe where it is that maybe we need to make some changes in the energy exchange in our personal relationships. The moon in Capricorn bumps into Jupiter, and Jupiter, being the planet of growth, of expansion, really wants to illuminate an opportunity in our waking lives here today, where it is that we get to put into action some of the revelations, some of the connections that we've made on where it is that we do have to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone and choose to act in a different way than we've acted in previous situations. The moon in Capricorn, of course, wants us to boss up and take control over our emotions, over our mental plane, over our actions in our physical realm. And because we have been illuminated over the past, I'm going to say days, but really it's been weeks, and for some of us months, where it is that now we really do have to start walking the walk and talking the talk. It's no good to sit in our inner realms thinking about, how things should go or what we would do if we were in particular situations. Now is the time where the universe will be testing us to see whether or not we did learn anything, and how we are going to change our frequency, our vibration, our actions, our behaviors in order to actually prove, not only to ourselves, but to the cosmos, that we are willing to step outside of ourselves and try something new. The moon is going to go ahead and come up and sit next to Pluto, the god of the underworld. Now, Pluto is getting very comfortable in his direct position, giving us the power, giving us the strength, giving us the focus and discipline in order to actually make some serious changes in our lives. Now, here's the thing. Negative Nancy and Betty the Bully, they've been very loud in our heads, very defeating at times. Now, Pluto, who had been retrograde for months now, was definitely illuminating our fears, our insecurities, our vulnerabilities, illuminating where past pain and past trauma has kept us paralyzed in the here and now. And now that Pluto is direct, we do have to start taking action, making moves, moving forward. Now, let me just tell you though, the moon in Capricorn, who tends to be a little bit of a negative Nancy anyways, a little bit on the darker side of life, this kind of interaction with the god of the underworld can take us into our shadow selves, can take us very deep into the depths of darkness. It's not going to stay there very long, but we do have to dabble in the darkness in order for us to see where it is that we are being guided towards the light. And of course, the light is knowledge. The light is information. And once you can know better, you can do better. And that's what we're being tested. That's what we're being challenged to do right now. Did you learn anything? If you did, here's a life situation where you can essentially step out of the old and implement the new. We get a perfect opportunity after dabbling in the darkness with Pluto to really see where it is that we have grown, we have changed, we have learned something, where we are willing to step up to the plate and to try something new. The moon goes ahead and makes a very positive aspect with Chiron, the wounded healer. And this is a perfect opportunity for us to detach from our egoic patterning of the past, because again, we've been illuminated to something. We've made a connection. We had an aha moment. We recognize now, acting as the observer, that we can't react from ego, or else we're going to stay in the same trauma bonds, the same pain patterns. So after kind of dabbling with Pluto there for a moment, the moon in Capricorn bumps into Chiron, and this is where we make a change. This is where we have a realization. This is where we celebrate ourselves for choosing differently. This is when we get to see that we are making efforts in healing particular wounds that, of course, have been very loud in our head and in our heart space for far too long. Venus is going to go ahead and bump into Saturn. Now this is, I'm going to say this is a good aspect because, Venus is in Sagittarius. So she's trying to be free. She's trying to find a new truth. She's trying to be excited about life again. She's trying to find, the beauty in all the ugliness and the love where there is hate. And of course, bumping into Saturn, who is the Lord of Karma, who just went direct and is barely conscious now, waking up from a 5-month slumber of reworking and reorganizing our inner worlds to recognize where it is we have to abandon old systems, old foundations, old dreams, goals, and ideas in order to give birth to a brand new vision. Now, these two bumping into one another, yes, is going to be more future focused than in the present moment. Sagittarian energy just wants to see the big, beautiful picture of the horizon of possibilities that awaits us. And of course, Saturn, who typically just wants to keep things the same, but being in Aquarian energy is looking at the future to see where it is that, maybe we have to tear this bridge down. Maybe we have to torch it altogether in order to create a brand new bridge. And Venus, who of course is all about love and worth and money and pleasure and long-term planning, she's trying to get a glimpse of what the future vision now looks like. Because we've had a lot of fog, a lot of darkness, a lot of lack of clarity, really fogging up our vision and our dreams. And now where Saturn is actually direct, there's a totally different perspective that needs to emerge. And this is likely going to be because we just came out of some tough love life lessons. And now we have an opportunity to make a change and integrate it, to do something about it in our day-to-day lives. So maybe the way that we're taking care of ourselves isn't working, hasn't been working. Maybe we've been illuminated to where it is that new systems, routines, and structures need to be implemented in our day-to-day life in order for us to honor ourselves, take care of ourselves, nurture ourselves. Maybe we're starting to realize that the dream that we had just last week needs a little bit of re-editing. We're still in a retrograde. Mercury and Jupiter are still retrograde. They will be going direct next week, but we still have some revisions to do. And I feel like Venus bumping into Saturn right now is really trying to get us in a realistic point of view of capturing a dream of the future and working our way backwards to the present moment to see what systems, foundations, routines, and structures actually need to be implemented in order for us to get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we want to be. By the time the moon actually shifts into Aquarian energy, again, late evening for many of us, the moon in Aquarius is going to feel lighter, going to feel brighter, very much, in our headspace. We are trying to get out of the present moment. The moon in Capricorn really wanted us to focus in on what is, and the moon in Aquarius emotionally detaches us from some of those heavy vibrational frequencies. The density of living in the now, for us to emotionally detach, free ourselves from the present moment, to catch a vision on where it is that we need to go from here. Of course, we've been illuminated to what it is we need to bust free from, what it is we need a little bit more independence with, where it is we need to rebel against some systems and structures that are trying to hold us back and keep us down. And the moon goes ahead and trines a beautiful energy with the true node. The true node, of course, is trying to show us where it is that we want to be in order for us to express our soul 100% authentically, to get back on track with the script, the divine script that our higher selves have written for ourselves. Yes, many of us have fallen off the wagon, so to speak. It's been a tough energy, definitely a tough path filled with obstacles and challenges. Many of us have lost sight on what it is that we are continuously fighting for, what it is that we are 100% needing to focus on manifesting if we want to bust free from this current reality and actually live in a vision that is much more aligned to our heart space. So the moon in Aquarius bumping into the true node right now is a beautiful energy to work with because we're tapping into our visionary skills. We're thinking about the future. We're zooming in on the details of the future. We're recognizing where it is that our old plan from even 3 days ago doesn't even feel right anymore, where it can be improved, where we can definitely progress through some of the stages that are lengthy, are dark, are tumultuous, where it is that we can speed things up. And again, we're in an accelerated manifestation state right now. Things are moving very quickly. Things will continue to move very quickly. So it's good for us to actually take the time to focus on what has changed within us, in our physical realms, in our circumstances, in our feelings, and of course, revise, re-edit, rework, reorganize, restructure that path, that strategy moving forward. Lastly, we're going to be able to kind of settle in for the night into a better sleep state, because I know dreams have been definitely all over the place. Again, if you haven't listened to this week's Ascension symptom forecast, I would definitely recommend you go do that. The sun will be bumping into Neptune in such a way where this is time for us to kind of detach, disassociate from our current realities just a tad, for us to recognize where it is that we really have to do the work within ourselves to get in a grounded, centered state between our heart, between our head, and where we have to open the door to our intuition and to our imagination. Yes, the sun is in Libra, wanting to create, fairness, balance, peace, love, and harmony in all that we do. Many of us are rolling our eyes right now because it has been nothing but a rage fest in Libra season. We have been doing nothing but living in extremes. But I tell you, Libra season is almost over. This is the point in time where we recognize where we have to harmonize the dualistic parts of ourselves. And when we open the door to our intuition, to our higher selves, to the cosmos, we really do have an opportunity to blend the best of both worlds. Sometimes we get too stuck in the parameters of this 3D reality. We forget to let the magic in. We get bombarded with the negativity, with the in-your-faceness of all the extremes happening right now. And sometimes we just need a timeout in order to realign ourselves with our higher self, with our intuition, with our heart space, with our spirit guides, with the universe, in order to trust the plan, in order to trust the process. I know it feels, especially when we're deep in the depths of the darkness, feeling this rage, feeling this overwhelming, intense energies that just have us paralyzed in a state right now where we don't know what to do. Our backs are up against a wall. I get it. It's hard to navigate. It's hard to decipher. But we have to understand that this is part of the process. We have to sit in the darkness before we can appreciate the light. We have to be on one end of the spectrum before we can see where it is we need to make our way back to middle ground. And this is going to be, especially after a very unstable day, mind, body, and soul, this is going to be a time where we're kind of cozied up in our safety net, in our security blanket, preparing to drift off to sleep, where we check out from our physical realms and allow ourselves to dream a bigger dream, where we connect with the powers that be and request a little bit of guidance while we go into a sleep state. I feel like we are going to awaken with a different attitude, with a different energy. But Lord, we do have to absolutely 100% put forth the effort to request assistance from the higher realms, from the higher intelligence sources, to provide us with clarity in our dream state if we are not getting it in our waking lives. So it's okay to dream a bigger dream. It's okay to open the door to magic and imagination. If anything, 100% give yourself permission to check out of reality an hour before bed and just let your intuition show you what else within you, within your realm, needs to be explored.